Hi all, this is Once a Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon Challenge. Last time we took on Pokemon Fire Red with a single Meditite and that was a pretty easy one thanks to making the most of her fantastic ability. This week we do something that I'm sure is going to be a whole lot harder. Today we answer the question of whether or not I can beat Pokemon Silver with a single Hoothoot. Now, I reckon with the exception of those who hate Unpheasant, there's probably an argument to say that Hoothoot is the worst of the regional birds. It has a base stat total of 262, which is the same as Spearow. Like when we did the Marl challenge, the best stat is the HP with 60, special defense is pretty okay at 56, speed isn't bad either. Our special attack is at 36, our physical attack and defense are both at 30, so that is worrying. What about the moves then? By level up, we learn normal, flying and psychic moves. By TM, we can get steel coverage in Steel Wing, dark coverage in Thief, ghost coverage with Nightmare, ground coverage with Mud Slap, and that's pretty much it. There's double team as an option, but we can't get it until post-game. Do I think I can do this or not? There's one fight that I know I'm going to dread. Jasmine's Steelix is going to be an absolute nightmare. I can feel it. The league shouldn't be too hard once we get there. Blue might be tricky. I think though, even at level 100, we've got no chance against Red. Just the rules then, same old deal. In combat I can only use Hoothoot. I'll need other Pokemon for HM moves, but they won't be allowed to fight. No items in battle beyond held items and Pokeballs. And last of all, no glitches or exploits. Using the UPR, I replaced Cyndaquil with Hoothoot so that I can do the entire run with it. I chose to replace Cyndaquil so that our rival would pick Totodile, giving us probably the hardest to fight in Feraligatr. We nicknamed the Hoothoot Tutu. It's reverse day somewhere out in the multiverse. Nothing important happens until we encounter our rival outside Cherry Grove City. I've been training with Tutu and got a few levels now, so it's a case of use Tackle over and over and over until Totodile goes down. I use the move 5 times, one of them missing. I get Peck in a few levels, which will be a far better option. Sprout Tower is easy due to being flying type, so I'm in a good position when it comes to the Faulkner fight. And he can't wreck my accuracy with Mud Slap, so aha! This is basically the fight between the bird he does use and the bird that he should use. I know he had one in the anime, but Faulkner should have had a Hoothoot, I don't care what anyone says. Anyway, Pidgey goes down to 3 peck attacks, landing 2 tackles in exchange. When Pidgeotto comes out, we don't deal much damage with peck, but barring a crit gust that puts us in yellow health, there's not too much that it can do to us in exchange. This fight is very slow, but eventually 2-2 knocks Pidgeotto out and we get the first badge. I also teach Tutu Mud Slap. Our attack sucks, but it's about the best sort of coverage we get for rock, electric and steel types. The Azalea Gym versus Bugsy is next, and Tutu is level 22 going into it. Even with a type advantage, I'm not sure this one will be as easy as expected. I turn out to be right. I take Metapod down with 2 peck attacks, it lands a tackle in exchange. I put Reflect up versus Cypher and fail with Hypnosis. Not once, not twice, but thrice. By the time I start landing pecks, my Reflect fades and I've lost a lot of health to Fury Cutter, eventually going down. I know where I went wrong. I rematched straight away. The Reflect strategy is sound. Hypnosis was what let me down. Let's attack from the start. I reckon we can 3-hit Cypher. Metapod goes down to 2 pecks, landing String Shot. We'd get outsped by Cypher anyway, so it's hardly a hindrance. We knock Kakuna out with a 1-hit crit peck before Cypher comes out. I go for Reflect and start pecking immediately. I'm proven right, as 3 pecks do take it out, and thanks to the defense buff, it never comes close to knocking us out. 2 badges down. Rival fight is next. Ghastly goes down to 2 Mud Slaps, failing with Hypnosis, which is handy. Given that the failure of that move caused me to lose the last gym battle first time, I'd be annoyed if it did land for the opponents. Zubat fails with Supersonic and goes down to 3 pecks, striking a bite for mediocre damage. Croconaw, though, is harder. I hit it with a Mud Slap for laughable damage, but more for the accuracy drop, before hammering into it with pecks. It begins to blast water guns, but we tank them quite well. It probably takes over half a dozen pecks, but eventually we bring it down and move on. I'm dreading the next one. Bring out the horned rollout monster. It's Whitney and her Miltank. This won't be fun, as we're weak against rollout and our defence isn't the best. Might have to hope Hypnosis gives me luck. I put Reflect up versus Clefairy and get hit with Double Slap and a Mimicked Peck for minor damage as I put it down with 3 of those same Peck attacks. Miltank is a wall though. Hypnosis is its usual unreliable self, as the move misses frequently. I try to get Reflect up, and Mud Slap also inflicts meagre damage. Worse, it's faster than us and flinches us with Stomp on 2 occasions. I get it down to about half the health mark, but it's not even close. I need to be stronger. Let's hit the grind board. I get to level 33 and I try this again. This time it goes smoother. I get Reflect up and then get hit with a Metronome Created Pursuit from Clefairy and then a free hit double slap. I can take it out with 2 hits this time, so that's not too bad. We're now faster than Miltank, which is handy. I try to keep it asleep as much as possible, keeping Reflect up to take the hits and also blasting it with Mud Slaps. I miss a few Hypnosis attacks here and there, but eventually I get 6 Mud Slap attacks off before landing a crucial critical hit with Peck to leave it on red health. The final Peck takes it out. That was grueling, and there's probably going to be more of the same when it comes to Jasmine's Steelix. Next is Ecruteak City, and I'm not too worried about the Morty fight. 2-2 is at level 40 for it. There aren't too many issues here. Ghastly goes down to Confusion. When Haunter number 1 comes out, a crit Confusion does for it. Gengar is 2 hit with Confusion, but crucially misses Hypnosis in the fight. At least that one went for me. Haunter number 2 survives Confusion on red health, but only uses Mimic before a second Confusion takes it out. While I'm here, I tackle the rival in Burned Tower. Haunter is slightly weaker than the ones I just fought and goes down to a single Confusion. Magnemite goes down to Mud Slap. Zubat goes down to Confusion. Croconaw, once again, is troublesome though. It takes a badge of Confusion attacks to knock it out, all while it blasts at me with Water Gun attacks. This is probably as close to our final moveset as we're going to get, barring maybe one notable addition. How weak we hit is going to be a big problem. Curse and or Double Team are moves I wouldn't mind, but they're not until post Elite 4. Cianwood City Gym is next, and Fighting Trainer Chuck. I should be confident here, because if I can't beat a Fighting type trainer with a Flying type that knows a Psychic move... Mind you, I had similar thoughts versus Bugsy. I'm simultaneously unlucky and lucky versus Chuck. Primeape goes down to 2 peck attacks, only landing Leer in exchange. When I peck Poliwrath, it does about a third of its health, and then it lands Dynamic Punch, which is unlucky. We managed to tank it relatively well, and then 2-2 fights through Confusion to land her own Confusion. Poliwrath then hits a second Dynamic Punch to put my Owl on 9 HP. That's doubly unlucky. If we hit ourselves, it's over. Thankfully, we don't, and she fights through Confusion again to take it out. Phew. Next port of call is the Team Rocket hideout and the Ice Gym. I know we're weak to that type, but I figure we've got more of a fighting chance there than beating Jasmine right now. We're at level 51 for price, and I just hope that's enough. All things considered, we do well. Seal goes down to a crit peck, which is very handy. Dugong is problematic. We miss Hypnosis and it lands Aurora Beam, reducing our attack. I get it to sleep on the second attempt. 2 Confusions don't even put it below half health. I switch to Peck and get a crit before another takes it down. Last is Piloswine. I put it to sleep and land 3 Confusions before Price heals it. At the third attempt, I put it back to sleep, but not before it lands 2 Blizzards and a Fury attack to put me on 2 HP. With it staying asleep and 2-2 nearly down, I keep hammering at it with Confusion until it finally goes down. If I thought the last 2 were bad, then this one will be worse. I've got the Jasmine fight now. I can't put it off any longer. 6 badges in hand, I decide to take a run at her just to see how we do. Be warned, this fight is long. I get incredible Hypnosis luck throughout as I put the first Magnemite to sleep and knock it out with 2 Mud Slaps. I put the second Magnemite to sleep and knock it out with Mud Slap and Confusion. Finally is Steelix, and it's the fight I've been dreading. I go immediately for Hypnosis and it lands before I use all my remaining Mud Slap attacks on it. As I run out, she heals it when I get it to red health and I have to switch to Confusion, which, fair enough, doesn't actually do bad damage. Relatively speaking, it takes a lot of them though, a lot of Confusions. Every time it wakes up, I put it back to sleep and Hypnosis lands every single time. How about that? The only hit it gets off of Iron Tail is in the penultimate turn of the fight, but even then, it does about a third of my HP. I take it down with a final Confusion. I figured I might have to be 10 to 20 levels higher to overpower that thing. I'm pleasantly surprised. Next is the Team Rocket shenanigans, and I fight the rival in Goldenrod City. Golbat is 2 hit with Confusion, lands a wing attack in exchange. Magnemite is 2 hit with Mud Slap, but crucially lands Thunder Wave and Thunder Shock. The reason this is bad is that it lets Haunter outspeed me and land Curse before I take it down with Confusion. Sneasel lands Feint Attack and Screech, but goes down to 2 Peck Attacks before Feraligatr is last. I land a Peck and a Confusion, but get hit with Bite twice, and ultimately I go down to Curse damage. I go and grind for a bit. I don't see as I have a choice really. I do it on the route north of Mahogany Town. It seems as good a place as any. I want to get to level 60. I'll have to do this sooner or later. If not for the rival now, then no doubt for Claire later. Anyway, at the rematch, Golbat goes down to Confusion and Peck, lands Wing Attack in exchange once again. Magnemite, thankfully, gets 1 hit by Mud Slap. Haunter then gets 1 hit by Confusion. Sneasel goes down to 2 Peck Attacks but lands Leer in exchange. Feraligatr goes down, eventually, to a series of Confusion attacks and a Peck, but lands Water Gun and Rage on us to deal decent damage. Anyway, with that out of the way, we've got the final gym. I've ground up to around level 70 and hopefully that will be enough. It goes, interestingly, I put the first Dragonair to sleep and then crit it with Peck for a 1-hit knockout. I miss Hypnosis on the second Dragonair and it paralyses me with Thunder Wave. I eventually put it to sleep and knock it out with 2 Pecks. Same strategy for the third Dragonair, sleep, 2 Peck attacks to take it out. What I will say is that we tank the Thunderbolt and Ice Beam attacks from the Dragonair pretty well. Kingdra is a different matter though, as it hits us with Hyper Beam. We get it with Hypnosis at the second attempt while it's recharging. We have to hit it with 4 Peck attacks to knock it out. 3 put it on red health and she Hyper Potions it, meaning we have to start over. It lands a Hyper Beam to put us in red health, and with Kingdra at a third of its health, I figure this is it. Another Peck puts it in low red health, this is it! And then Paralysis kicks in and we go down to Hyper Beam. Lovely. I may need another level or 2 for that bit more power. I'll have to do it at some point, so I might as well get it over with. The rematch goes very similar, the only real difference being that I have the Quick Claw on. I don't crit the first Dragonair, but as I get it to sleep, it doesn't matter that I have to hit it twice to knock it out. I'm probably in worse condition as Kingdra comes out, but as it uses Hyper Beam, I get it to sleep at the second attempt. I go for 6 Mud Slaps to wreck its accuracy, and even as Claire heals it, I get it back to sleep after it misses a Hyper Beam, and then I hammer into it with Peck and Confusion attacks to knock it out. In Victory Road, we have a final mandatory rival fight. Sneasel is first and it goes down to 2 Pecks, dealing a whopping 1 point of damage from Fury Cutter in exchange. Magneton is next, but a crit Mud Slap takes it out. Golbat is up after and goes down to 2 Confusions. It lands Wing Attack in retaliation. Then it's Haunter who goes down to Confusion. Kadabra is taken out by Peck. And last is Feraligatr, who does deal big damage with a pair of slash attacks, but goes down to a repeated Confusion Assault, eventually giving me the battle. We've hit Indigo Plateau, and these are our stats at level 75. They really are nothing special. Speed and special defense are okay. Special attack and regular defense are about even. With an attack stat that only just breaks 3 figures though, this will be rough. I think Will shouldn't be a problem. Koga might be tricky, particularly his Fortress. Bruno shouldn't be too much of an issue. Karen, I can see being real trouble, and Lance, well, it's Friday at the time of recording. I have a feeling I might be going to get returned on Sunday before this array of fights is complete. If you think I can do this or not, hit the comment section right now and prepare to be proven either right or wrong. Willie's up first, it's a short one. I take the first Zatu out with 2 Pecks, but it hits a crit Psychic for big damage. Next is Jinx. I nearly one-hit it with Peck before it lands Lovely Kiss to put 2-2 to sleep, and then hits 3 Ice Punches in a row to knock it out. Okay, it's 2 AM Sunday morning, I can't sleep, let's go get Return. This is probably our best chance of inflicting big damage. I replace Peck after much deliberation. I boost up to level 77 and then go after Will again. With Return, this makes a big difference. Zatu number 1 goes down to Return. Jinx goes down to Return. Slowbro survives it and goes for Cursed, but a second Return takes it out. Zatu number 2 goes down to Return. Can you guess what move I use on the Executor? That's right, Return. It one-hits it and I advance to the next fight. Now, how tough is Poison Trainer Koga going to be? Ariados goes down to a single return. Fortress, I don't have a good answer for. I hit it with Confusion for about a fifth of its health. It goes to Spikes, and then I put it to sleep with Hypnosis before blasting it with 2 more Confusion attacks to weaken it. Return finishes it off. Mucky's next. I land Return. It survives narrowly and uses Acid Armour before I take it out with Confusion. Crobat is his next one, and although it does get a double team off, I take it out with 2 Confusion attacks. Last is Venomoth, and he does poison 2-2 with Toxic, but 2 Confusions take it out. Bruno is either going to be easy or horrible, and we do take a lot of damage in this fight. Hitmontop lands 2 quick attacks on us, but goes down to 2 Confusions. Onyx is next. I put it to sleep and blast it with Mud Slap. It waits the next turn and throws up Sandstorm. This isn't actually that bad of a result, as I knock it out with Confusion. Hitmonchan is next. It gets hit by Sandstorm, lands Mach Punch, and then I hit it with Confusion to leave only a sliver of its health, which then gets wiped out by Sandstorm. Machamp gets 1 hit with Return. Hitmonlee takes big damage from Confusion before it lands Double Kick, and then I take it out with Mud Slap. I heal and move on to Dark Trainer Karen. This one will be awful, I can feel it, though it actually goes better than expected. Umbreon, I put to sleep immediately and hit with Return for big damage before taking it out with 2 Mud Slaps. Next is Gengar, and I go for Confusion. It survives, and I'm expecting Curse, but it uses Spite. A second Confusion takes it out. Next is Murkrow, who goes down to Return. Houndoom goes down the same way. Last is Vileplume, who is often one of her most annoying to deal with. I hit Confusion and manage to disorient it before trying to finish it off with Mud Slap. It doesn't quite come off. She heals with Moonlight and I have to use Confusion to finish it off. That's Karen done. Cooked. Okay then, Lance. I pop an Ether to recover PP for Return and head into battle. I quickly realise I wasted that Ether as I beat Gyarados with a Return and a Confusion, getting struck by Hyper Beam in exchange. The horrible Hypnosis look strikes again as I miss it on the first Dragonite and get paralysed by Thunder Wave, which is the situation I didn't want to happen. I knock it out with Return and Confusion as it misses Thunder. Second Dragonite goes down to red health from Return. The Quick Claw does give me some fortune, but Paralysis quickly takes hold and it hits 2 Blizzards and a Hyper Beam in quick succession to beat 2-2. I grab a few more levels. The harder I can hit, the easier this fight will be. I get to level 82 in Victory Road and then battle back through the Elite Four to Lance. It's another loss. I can one-hit Gyarados now, but Hypnosis misses on the first Dragonite again and it paralyses us and lands 3 Thunders in a row. And although we take it out, the second Dragonite takes us out with Blizzard. Back to the grinding board. I'm at level 89 when I make attempt number 3 at Lance. I might not even bother with Hypnosis, just try to brute force him. This strategy works pretty well, as Gyarados and the first 2 Dragonite all get taken out by Return. It's when Aerodactyl comes out that things get hairy as I'm wary. I try for Hypnosis and miss, naturally, before it lands Rock Slide. I do 2 hit it with Confusion, but it does 130 points of damage to us. Charizard is 1 hit with Return, and last is the final Dragonite. It survives Return and goes for Outrage, but it isn't enough to stave off the final blow, and we enter the Hall of Fame. Well, at this level, we should wreck Kanto, no problem. I'm going to make attempts on both blue and red. The former should be doable, the latter could be interesting. Anyway, I'm level 98 when it comes to the fight with blue. Pidgeot goes down in 1 return, Rhydon is next, and this one is problematic. Confusion does just under half its health and it lands Fury Attack for decent damage before I hit it with Mud Slap. Rock Slide does pretty tremendous damage all things considered, but I've got the leftovers on, so I'll begin to heal after every round. I finish it off with Confusion. Alakazam goes down to Return. Gyarados survives Return and he heals it, so I have to weaken it with Confusion before striking it down with Return. Arcanine does the same, narrowly surviving the Return after landing at extreme speed, and then he heals it. I blast it with Mud Slap and then Return to take it out. Executor is last and I hit it with Return. It survives and begins to charge up Solar Beam, but a second Return takes it out. Well, just one final fight then, and I can't see this being a pleasant one. We've got the battle with Red in Mount Silver. I have a few ideas about how to proceed. I get 2-2 to level 100 outside Mount Silver, and these are our stats. I've got the TMs for both Curse and Double Team, so I'm probably going to have to use them here. I'm going to make a few practice runs on this fight, get an idea which way it blows. After Liberation, I replace Mud Slap and Confusion with Double Team and Curse. A few practice runs is the plan anyway. And it falls apart because the very first attempt, this happens. I get hypnosis off on Pikachu and begin to build up double teams. Red immediately uses a full restore and I take several turns to try and get it back to sleep, during which I get hit with thunder a few times but survive. I get it back to sleep eventually and put on more double teams until Red uses another full restore to wake it up, which is good. Eventually I get 6 double teams and a curse off before one hitting Pikachu with return. Blastoise comes out next and uses Rain Dance. I don't quite knock it out with return, it misses Blizzard before I take it out with another return. Espeon does hit us with Swift, I can't do anything about that, but we take it out with return. Snorlax is next and I go for 2 more curses while it uses Amnesia and misses Body Slam before we then one hit it with return. Charizard is next and it lands Flamethrower, burning us. That's a problem. Return doesn't take it out thanks to that burn, but it does miss another Flamethrower and we take it out at the second attempt. Last is Venusaur and it charges up Solar Beam. We don't knock it out, it lands the move, but it doesn't do much damage. 2-2, then finally finishes this run and the Pokemon off with another return to give us the victory. That was ridiculous. I figured it'd be a dozen or so attempts if I could even do it at all. You might argue the strategy was cheap, but I had a plan and it came off perfectly. This was an interesting run with a limited Pokemon. Next time, I'm going for something that has the potential to be absolutely horrible. I'm going to tackle Pokemon Emerald with a single Slacking. Yes, you heard that right, Slacking. More to follow that one in the future. If you have enjoyed what you've seen here, then don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. If you have any ideas for upcoming challenges, then hit the comment section down below. We're almost out of time now, so all I've got left to say is that this has been Once and Future Gamer, and thank you so very much for joining me on this challenge. Take care now, have a great day, I will see you next time.